Thrilled to see all of you here in person and via Zoom. We are kicking off our 2024 pregame press conference with Memphis. We do have two student athletes from Memphis, redshirt junior linebacker Chandler Martin, senior quarterback Seth Henigan, member of the 2021 class of Denton Ryan High School, and of course, head coach Ryan Silverfield. Just to set the stage here, we are streaming this press conference, and it is in person and via Zoom. When we open it up to questions, we ask that you raise your hand. For those of you here in the room, Patrick, right here to your right, will bring you the microphone. We just ask that you identify yourself and address to whom you're asking the questions. Once we wrap up questions here in the room, we'll open it up to individuals via Zoom. For those of us on Zoom, same thing, please. Just identify yourself, unmute yourself when you are ready to ask your question, and then address your question to whom direct your question to whom you'd like to ask the question. That makes sense, I think. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to be quiet and hand it over to head coach Silverfield for an opening statement, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Yeah, first off, thank you to the media for being here, but I want to give a heartfelt thanks to Sean Johnson and the entire bowl crew. All of you guys have worked tirelessly. The city of Frisco, it's been absolutely phenomenal. The hospitality that's been shown to us and our team has been absolutely tremendous, so we're grateful for that. Obviously an honor, a privilege for us at the University of Memphis, our program, to be here at the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl and to be able to play a wonderful opponent in West Virginia. Obviously, we take a lot of pride and tradition in playing in bowl games. I think we're the only seventh team in college football to be playing our 11th straight bowl game. Obviously, we came here to enjoy the bowl festivities and do all those things, but ultimately to go home with a trophy. And our guys have worked tirelessly for the last couple of weeks when we knew who the opponent was to prepare for tomorrow night's game. We're excited to be able to play on a national stage again on ESPN and all those partners that will be watching. But, it's a privilege and honor always, like I say, to even have these two young men, Seth Henigan and Chandler Martin, two captains, two leaders of our team that have meant so much to everything we've been able to do. But look, when it's all said and done, we're excited for tomorrow night. We're excited to be playing an excellent West Virginia team, another team from the Big 12 in a bowl game. The preparation that's occurred. I can't, without losing mind on this thing, we've also had 16 student athletes graduate this weekend, which is absolutely phenomenal. 5 of them are first generation. So hopefully this past weekend was a weekend of celebration as we head into tomorrow night. We know it's going to be a 4-quarter battle. We're excited about the challenge ahead, but ultimately the goal is to go home with that thing late tomorrow evening. But excited to be here.
Late tomorrow evening. Yes, it is an 8 o'clock kick here at Toyota Stadium and on ESPN. Thank you. All righty, we're going to open it up to questions. Anybody in the room here have a question for Memphis? We're going to go right over here. Patrick, will be to your right.
Ryan, in preparation, now that you've been able to dive into West Virginia, just what are you seeing out of on both sides of the ball?
Since when I want you to identify yourself, Frank Bonner, Daily
Thank you.
Memphian. I pay attention.
Thank you.
So I did it for you, bud. Glad you're here. The biggest thing is you see a team, right? They're a Power 4 team, and you get to see that. And I think they always pride themselves in starting in the trenches, right? Their defense line is probably the best we've seen all season. They're fast. They get off. They're big. They're tough. So they got the best D-line we've probably seen so far this season. And then they pride themselves on their offensive line, right? I mean, it starts with their left tackle, who will be a first-round draft pick. They got mostly guys that played a lot of football that are 4-year starters on their offensive line. So they take a lot of pride in what they do up front as well. So this game for them, they're tremendous in the trenches, right? Now, don't get me wrong. They got skilled athletes everywhere. And then their offense, they want to line up the ball and run the ball, right? They got a quarterback with over 600 rushing yards, all right? Don't get any crazy thoughts. They have 2 running backs with over 600 yards. So West Virginia prides themselves, hey, we're going to be better than you at our offensive line, all right? And we're going to try to run the ball down your throat. And then defense line, they're very, very talented. So for us, look, it's going to present a lot of challenges. Also, it's no different, right? They do have an interim head coach. In bowl games, you always expect the unexpected. There's always going to be some unique things that are going to occur during the game, especially in bowl games, and a team that really, right, a lot of these coaches may not have jobs when they land back in Morgantown. So what are we going to see from them? Or is it going to be a bunch of trick plays, surprise onside kicks, fake punts? So we got to be prepared for all those things. We don't want to go chasing ghosts, but we got to be ready and mindful. We have got to have great communication, great eyes for all 60 minutes tomorrow night.
Over here to the right, please. Please identify yourself if you don't mind.
Brian Moss, Tiger Sports Report. Coach, you were talking about the defensive line, and I was going to ask about T.J. Jackson. He leads West Virginia with, I think, 6.5 sacks.
Yes.
What makes him such a force?
Yeah, he has a great combination of speed to power. He's one of those guys that, you sit there and you try to run right at him, and he's going to slip and make the tackle for a loss. And then, all of a sudden in pass protection, you're trying to do it. He'll be able to hit you up with a counter. He's very, very explosive. And I think anytime you can have 6.5 sacks in college football this day and age, it's very, very difficult to do. And he's got a multitude of tools, and we've got to trust it. And that's one of those things, like I said, in these bowl games, right? Like whoever he's going against, whether it's our tackles, our running backs, and pass protection, we've got to be great. We've got to be smart in the way we handle protections. But he's a force to be reckoned with. He's certainly one of the best pass rushers we've seen in a long time.
Right over here on the right again.
Jonah Dillon, Commercial Appeal. Ryan, you mentioned a couple weeks ago the seasons that Dan and Kenny are having now. Both are going to the playoff and have a bye. What does that mean just for you on a personal level, knowing them, and also just the fact that they were both at Memphis and what it means for the program?
Yeah, I wish we were in the playoffs and had a bye as well. And like I said a long time ago, I apologize to our fan base for us not winning the conference championship. That's on me, and for us not going to the playoffs. So, but guess what? This is a wonderful opportunity to go get our 11th win. So there's nothing we can do about that pass. So moving forward, I'm pleased. I mean, look, those are two of my closest friends in this profession. Kenny Dillingham was a young, I don't think he shaved when he was a grad assistant here, and he's doing remarkable things at Arizona State, and it just to see his growth, you always knew that he was destined for special things. Even last year when they were saying, oh, man, Arizona State made a mistake hiring this young coach that doesn't know what he's doing. And there's a lot that goes on for head coaches these days, and it's a lot on his plate, but he's done a tremendous job of just buying in. His players have bought in. He's got a tremendous amount of energy, as everybody gets to see, and he's really passionate. He wears his emotions on his sleeves, and that's a good thing because the players have bought into him. And so I'm so proud for Kenny. And then, Dan Lanning's a guy, right, came in, was a grad assistant in Alabama, and, had the opportunity to come and get his first full-time job at Memphis. And, I think he was 30 years old when he was on our staff. And you got to see a great work ethic, a young man that understood football at a really high level with Dan. And, we know the story about his wife and what she went through. You talk about a battle-tested man of character. His wife or his kids slept at my house through a lot of those battles with the cancer. And so Dan's a very, very close friend. I've mentioned to you guys, I actually went and spent a couple days in the spring at Oregon to see if I could better myself. And it was great because Dan and I could sit down and be very transparent with each other. Hey, what do you see in my program that I can get better? What do you see in his program? And that was great. I think too many head coaches, their egos get in the way of trying to improve. And Dan's one of those, hey, tell me what else can I do? Tell me, and it's been great. And I'm so proud for those two and so happy for those two. I think a lot of people in college football want to see other coaches fail. I can't wait to root for those guys. I'll be their biggest fans. And then when they play each other, if that ends up happening, I don't know if that's in the docket. That'll be a tremendous one. I'll make sure I'm glued in. But again, haven't given much thought other than the focus on these. Maybe when we land back, I'll look up and see when their next games are.
And then Chandler, obviously you've had a big impact on this program the past 2 years. Have you made a decision as what you're going to do next year, and what's kind of gone into that?
First of all, just been a great season. Right now, my focus is on West Virginia, finishing strong with my guys. Me and Coach Silverfield had conversations, but a decision will be made after the game. My focus is all on West Virginia right now.
We're going to go back over here to the back, Patrick.
Avery Braxton, ABC 24. This question's for Seth. Obviously, you played your high school ball at in Denton, just about an hour from here. What does it mean for you to kind of have your career kind of come full circle and be able to finish here in your home state of Texas and your Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just a blessing just to be able to come back near my hometown and be able to have my family. I'll have like 10 people at the game. So just for them to have it close to my hometown and for them to be able to watch my last game in college football, that's just a blessing.
And then for Coach Silverfield, the opportunity to have potentially 2 Power 4 wins in a season and, beat a Power 4 team for the second year in a row in a bowl game. What would that mean to you and your program?
Yeah, I talked to our team about it. I do think that there's uniqueness in within a 365 period, right, to be able to go beat 3 Power 4 teams, right? Obviously the Liberty Bowl game versus Iowa State last year was tremendous for our program and what it meant to these players. Then the opportunity to go down to Florida State and beat FSU down in Tallahassee and then come back and have the opportunity to beat a very good team, a Power 4 team that has a winning record in the Big 12 in West Virginia. So it means a lot because all it does is just means that we belong. If we handle our business, we should have the opportunity to finish maybe as a top 20 team in the country. But, we don't think about those other than, guess what, it's a faceless, nameless opponent. We've got to go out there and do our job. And literally about an hour ago, I just got done talking to our guys about we got to be great in fundamentals, like you do in every bowl game. But look, anytime we get our opportunity to put that Leaping Tiger logo on the map and to be recognized nationally, it's a huge thing.
Right up here in the middle, please.
Rachel Phillips with ABC 24. Ryan, obviously this group of seniors is your first group that you've gone all the way through with as a head coach. Just what does this group mean to you, and what would getting a win with them in their last game mean?
Yeah, I think it's everything. These guys have meant the world to me. I think about this. All this guy knows is at the end of the season hoisting a trophy. Obviously we wish we were hoisting championship trophies, but man, that's a remarkable thing. The guys like Greg Rubin, Jonah Gamble, Kobe Drake, who's one of the long-tenured ones. But it's been phenomenal. It's such a special group. Like I say, I wake up every day with the best job in the world, right? An honor and privilege to coach these guys and what they mean to me and what they've meant to this program more than anything. Those guys have stayed loyal and committed. They've seen the success and the fruition of their hard work pay off and it come to fruition. And man, it's everything. It's all about them. And more than anything, I can't wait. Hopefully at 11:30 tomorrow night for those guys to be celebrating, because there's no better feeling to watch the guys enjoy themselves in the locker room.
Back to the back, right over here.
Kevin Kinder, Blue and Gold News for Seth. Coach mentioned, you've known who you're playing for a couple of weeks now. With your experience, how much do you participate in putting the game plan together and putting into, hey, I see these things, I think these things will work out, they've worked in the past, or I feel like they're comfortable against this defense?
Yeah, a relatively small amount, to be honest. I kind of leave the coaching and the game plan to the coaches, and then I try and execute my job. But obviously, Coach Cramsey and I and Coach Silverfield and I have a great relationship, so I'm able to give my input where it's needed, and they respect my opinion, and then obviously I respect what they do as coaches and the game plan they put together. So they've done a great job the whole entire year trying to formulate the best plan for each and every opponent. So I feel like we have a good game plan, and I'm just ready to execute it.
We've been so fortunate, I don't mean to speak over, but both these two young men are coaches on the field, right? They may have that coach-to-player communication reality. I think both of them, we could say, hey, take that green dot off, and they could both call the game themselves, which is so tremendous. So that's what's so great about not only having captains and leaders and phenomenal football players, but they're some of the smartest young men I've been around. And both of these guys could easily go out there and handle it. And no knock on Coach Cramsey or Coach Hankins, right? But those two could literally, and they've done a great job, right? Like Chandler Martin will meet with Coach Hankins and say, hey, here's what I want. Or a lot of times the call's on them. No different than with Seth. Sometimes I think Seth does like you can't hear, and then he'll call his own play. And it's good for both of them. But I'm just telling you, one of these days, and I hope they get to play football for a long time, maybe we could add coach to their title because they certainly deserve it.
Any other questions in the room? Back over here to the left, please. We'll do the last one here in the room, then we'll open it up to Zoom. We have 4 questions.
For Chandler and for Coach Silverfield, dealing with a more mobile quarterback, a dual option threat, what are you guys kind of keying in on? Obviously, they do want to run the ball, but his ability to do things both with his legs and his arms, how are you keying in on that?
Having a mobile quarterback, it kind of evens things up, makes it a really 11 on 11. So we just have to be really assignment sound. Have to find a way to take 2 up with 1 person. Just making sure we're doing our job at the end of the day. That's all it comes down to, 11 people on the field doing the job, and we should be able to be okay.
I think that's one of those things like Chandler was just saying, it's an added element to the game. We've faced some mobile quarterbacks, but not ones that on 3rd and 8 it will be a design quarterback run, or it may be a 3rd and 8 and a drop back pass, and then he'll go scramble. So they've got to be great, and the communication has to be on point, and they've got to really trust their eyes, because there could be times, right, it would be a 1st and 10, it could be what looks like a drop back pass, and it could be a design quarterback run, or if it breaks down, he runs the ball. So the defense has done a great job, but yeah, it's going to present its challenges, but hopefully we'll be ready.
All right, thank you to everyone here in the room. We're going to open it up to Zoom. We're going to kick it off with Wes Pruitt. Wes, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and telling us who you're representing and to whom you're asking your question.
Wes Pruitt, 4-Star Sports Media. First question is for all 3 of you. Coach, last year 10 wins, This year, 10 wins, first time in program history. This team has 2 seasons of 10-win seasons. Right now, you're at 21. A win tomorrow night will be the most wins in a 2-year stretch. Coach and players, what does that mean to you in the long run of building this program?
I think this day and age in college football, Wes, it's really, really hard to sustain success. And I think we see that with the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs of so many programs. It's really, really difficult with all the things that occur. But again, the credit should go to the players because they're the ones that are the most consistent. They've been dialed in. They're the ones that put in the hard work week in and week out to create a year in, year out success. But they've done a great job. We've talked about it all along, a one game at a time approach. Obviously, the ability to get 21 wins in 2 seasons is phenomenal. I just know that the local media is going to expect 12 wins next year, which is it's all the nature of it. But look, we're just focused on it. This is the next game. It's the most important game of the year, and obviously a tremendous opportunity for our program to continue to sustain success.
Yeah, I mean, like Coach Silverfield said, just sustain success and the camaraderie in the locker room. And I feel like it's just a testament to our culture because at the group of 5 level, to be able to retain your older players and your star players like Chandler and Rock Taylor and myself, I mean, that speaks to, what we're building at Memphis. And hopefully that sustained success comes after our senior class is gone because we have a deep senior class. But, that culture that Coach Silverfield and the staff has built, it's here to stay. So, 10 wins last year, 10 wins this year, with an opportunity to win 11. Hopefully we just keep on building on that after we're gone.
Yeah, it's great. It's a testament to the culture for sure. I'll probably say this is one of the favorite teams I've ever been on in my career, and I've been on a lot of great teams. The guys just really love each other in the locker room. Like we're really playing for each other. Just being able to go out there and play with the guys is just a pleasure, and we're winning because we're playing for each other. So I think it's a testament to the culture that Coach Silverfield has built and the staff, and hopefully we can keep it going.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions on the Zoom. We'll go to Stephen Hawkins and then Mitch Davis. Go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, yeah, Stephen Hawkins with the Associated Press. Just talk about, you're so unique in college football, the only 4-year FBS starting quarterback right now that's done it all at one school. What does that mean to you to kind of finish what you started?
Yeah, it means the world. I'm just a team-oriented guy, team over me mentality that's been preached to me throughout my whole entire career. And I've just been fortunate enough to have had the same head coach for all 4 years. I feel like that was really important in this day and age of the transfer portal. You're seeing, everyone leave, especially at the lower levels, to go to a Power 4 or get a different opportunity. But I was able to have the same head coach, same offensive coordinator for my last 3 years. So it kind of just worked out in my favor. I'm a product of luck. That's something I say, hard work and luck. And that's how I made it to where I am today. And to have had all my players, for the most part, stay with me, and then the staff stay the same, that's allowed me to stay at Memphis and have had a pretty successful career.
And then we'll wrap it with Mitch. Go ahead, Mitch.
Hey, Mitch Davis, the MitchDavisShow.com. Seth, this is a question for you. I do want to ask you, you've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I do want to ask about your legacy at Memphis. And you have been a pillar for this program and really laid the groundwork for future generations of Tigers. Talk about your legacy, and personally, what does the University of Memphis mean to you personally as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I mean, legacy, people will perceive me how they perceive me. I didn't win a conference championship in any of my 4 years, so that's obviously something that will eat at me and has bothered me for an extended time period. But at the end of the day, I mean, all that's in the past, so I have to look forward to my future, and that's playing this West Virginia team, and hopefully, just teaching people who came in, transfer, even Chandler when he came in, how we do things in our standard at Memphis, just because, in this era of transfer portal people, the people who stay at the program have to be the ones who set the culture and set the tone for the people who come in and don't know how you do things. So hopefully I was just one of those guys who, took people under their wing, taught them how we do things, and tried to continue to build our culture and our standard. And whenever I'm gone, I've said it before, hopefully these young quarterbacks, these star quarterbacks that we have coming in, they can lean on me for advice, just how I leaned on Brady White whenever I was a young freshman. So I just want to be a guy that people at the University of Memphis and football players can reach out to and just be a resource for them and this university going forward, because this university means the world to me, and I'm just grateful to have been a Memphis Tiger and to have one more opportunity to put on that Memphis helmet.
All right. Chandler, Seth, great job. Best of luck tomorrow night against West Virginia. Thank you.